Oh, the so there was dickering about the price, and then the land that they were going to sell stopped right at the steps going down into the meadow. And then all that land was to go with the yellow house, which Elizabeth and her brothers were also trying to sell.
Yeah.
And we thought that was totally unacceptable. So by that time, the lawyer said, well, draw your own boundaries. So we took everything on that side of the road, which, you know, I mean, it would have been terrible to have had somebody come along and build a house on the lot or anything like that. But it was, and we were paying this outrageous price for the house. So we didn't feel too badly about getting the extra 50 or so acres. Or it was more than that. But anyway, when we went to meet the president of the bank and the vice president of the bank in Peterborough to arrange for a mortgage, Dad had a GI mortgage after veterans from World War II got special consideration. And so I think it was something like 2%. And we signed our lives away. We had very little, teeny tiny little deposit saving. Oh, because Dad, the one steady income that we had at that point was from Granny Wren, the $2,000 that I think eventually, after Dad died, got divided up with you kids. Anyway, so we had that, and the 2% interest on the mortgage, and we paid $14,500 for the house, the barn, the studio, and close to 100 acres.
Wow.
And when they had a chart, the president, Bill McDonald, the president of the bank, had a chart up on the wall, that showed how much we would pay in interest and how much we would pay off the principal.
Right.
I saw this huge thing of interest going up, and I said, but that's usury, and accused them of being usurers. And for many years after, the bank president never let me forget the fact that I had accused him of being a usurer. Anyway, so that's how we got the thing. So that was really, we were so lucky. Oh, can you imagine? It's so obscene what's happened to land values, just totally. You know, it isn't as if people's lives and salaries and everything else had gone up commensurately. It's just totally...
And did Dad didn't have the job at Smith at that point? Or?
Yes, he did.
He did?
Yes. Because...
So he had it before Aaron was born?
Yes, because the... No, wait a minute. I'm trying to remember, because Smith wrote to him when we were at the Leyland house here, and Dad wrote back a very good, long, thoughtful letter and said no. But then they wrote again a year later. So no, I think we must have just moved into that house. So maybe we didn't have that. Anyway, and they again said, won't you reconsider, and we'll put all your classes on 2 consecutive days. And, you know, once a month you'd come one day early to go to faculty meetings, but otherwise, so they jammed all his classes on Thursdays and Fridays. And it worked out well because Smith had a split week. Anyway, you either had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday classes or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And he had 2 very busy days. And by that time, Aaron was either expected or born. I guess he was expected. And all of a sudden, it seemed like a very good idea. This was absolutely the furthest thing from Dad's mind or our plans or anything that he would ever teach or do anything like that. And then with 2 little children, it seemed like a very good idea to have something that was a little steady.
Right.
And, he started out there, and I think his beginning salary was something like $2,400 a year, which was very meager, even in those days.
Yeah.
Very, very meager.
Yeah.
But education in this country isn't something that has ever been really very well rewarded. I do remember when he first went down to Northampton for his first teaching, and it must have been in September of the year Aaron was born. Oh yes, we were living there before Aaron was born, because Bob Fish, the mailman, was absolutely in terror. He was a bachelor. He was the guy who lived in that house there. He was a bachelor, and he was terrified that he might be called on to deliver the baby. And the thing is, we were the only people on the whole road, and he knew that this huge hulk in the front of me meant that there was going to be a child coming very soon. And in those days, if maybe one truck went down the road a day, a dump truck or something like that, and the mailman, that was the only traffic on the road that had, in many places, green grass and wildflowers growing down the center of it. I mean, it was not a traveled road at all, like it is now. And he was very nervous about that. And I got word that he was nervous about it. And I said rather cavalierly to the person who told me that he was concerned that he might be called on to deliver the baby, I said, "Oh, tell him not to worry, just all he needs is a pair of clean white shoelaces, to tie the umbilical cord." And the word got back to him, and a few days later I went to the mailbox, and there, along with the mail, was a pair of clean white shoelaces, and it was his telling me, "Don't count on me." And actually, I found those shoelaces when I was moving. They're still in all pristine.
That's so funny.
So they're someplace down in.
So how did you decide Manchester for?
Oh, because again there was nobody around who would agree to natural childbirth. And actually the guy, so I went to a horrible doctor in Manchester, but I figured, having just had a really wonderful doctor who had explained a great deal to me and helped me through the whole thing, that I could do it. And it didn't make too much difference. I had to be in a hospital. I would love to have had children at home, but in those days nobody was allowed to do that. They would, it was just unheard of. And in fact, I was always treated pretty strangely in the hospital whenever any of you guys were born, because I was always the only person who nursed the babies, because that was not popular in those days. Babies were supposed to have formula in bottles, not mother's milk. Anyway, I'd read a lot about what was good and healthy.
And when Aaron was born, was Dad around? Did he give you a ride, or how did you get there?
He was around. I'm trying to remember. I think Dee Dee, because Emil and Hugh and
Right.
Bridget were living up in the